And we're back, and this is Paul Fabrizio.
And I'm Don Frazier.
And we're here for the Constitution line by line.
Line by line, we're going through it all.
Should we have T-shirts?
I think we should have swag.
Swag.
Yeah, stuff we all get.
Yeah, okay. Funny hats,
yeah,
whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
make the Constitution great again.
All right.
Something like that. Now, you've got a mea culpa.
I have a mea culpa.
We love it when we throw some Latin in there. Makes us feel smart.
And I'm going to throw some more Latin in just a second, too.
Excellent.
I should have mentioned we were talking about in Article 3, Clause 2. No. Article 3, Section 2, Clause 2.
Yeah.
The original and appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. I forgot to mention an interesting little fact, which is, you appeal a case to the Supreme Court. Yes. He's counting down or something?
The rule of four.
The rule of four. You appeal a case to the Supreme Court. Will they hear it? And it turns out they can decide their own agenda. And it takes 4 justices to agree to hear a case.
Isn't that interesting? Because there's 9 on there. You'd think you'd have to take 5.
Right. But you just need 4.
Even if there's 15 justices.
Just need 4.
And where's that come from?
That's their own internal rule.
Oh, it's an internal rule, just House rule.
That is my understanding. It's an internal rule.
Oh, so it's a House rule double.
Yeah, now.
If you bounce it off the roof of the barn, then that's a House rule double.
Now, I want you to think about something there, sir. Ignoring all your stuff about bouncing it off the House.
Okay.
4 justices agree to hear a case. That means 5 justices didn't agree to hear the case.
Which means it's going to have a rocky tenure before the court.
You got it. There's a strong possibility that some of the justices just don't care.
Yeah.
And
why are you wasting our time?
Right. Now, you think about something else. Think about death penalty cases that go before the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
There are 2 justices currently in the Supreme Court who are totally opposed to the death penalty.
Yeah.
2 others who mostly are opposed to it. 5 who are in favor of it. If you are a justice on the court, you're opposed to the death penalty, and you want to delay the process for someone, you'll agree to hear a case even though you know it's going to lose.
Wow.
Just to keep someone alive longer.
For a little longer. Guess what, Rocky? You're going to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You're still going to fry.
Yeah. Is that ethical?
Yeah, that's wild.
And this is some of the things you think about when this rule of 4 that they have to deal with. And by the way, I promised Latin.
Yes.
The specific thing that it's called when you appeal to the Supreme Court is you send forth a writ of certiorari.
Certiorari.
Certiorari. C-E-R-T, let's make sure I spell it right, C-E-R-T-I-O-R-A-R-I. Literally meaning send the case.
Send the case.
And It's called a cert appeal.
A cert.
Yes. A cert. So, there you go.
All right.
Thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, so we've got that housekeeping issue
that I should have discussed before. Mea culpa, more Latin.
Mea culpa.
All right, let's go down to Article 3, Section 2, Clause 3, guarantee of trial by jury.
This is huge.
Yes. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury, and such trials shall be held in the state where the said crimes shall have been committed. But when not committed within any state, the trial shall be at such place or places as the Congress may by law have directed. Okay.
All right. Trial by jury is one of the cornerstone concepts of American civilization.
Yes.
And I can tell you as a Texas historian
okay.
that was a big issue with American settlers coming into Mexico. Yeah, in fact, there were so many Americans coming into Mexico, both legally and illegally, that the Mexican government said, we need to build a wall to keep these knuckleheads out because they're pouring into our country and they're changing the culture of the place.
They weren't assimilating?
They were not assimilating. They weren't learning Spanish. They weren't becoming Catholic. And as one Mexican official who came up to inspect the border conditions reported, they all carry their constitution in their back pocket.
Really?
Yes, and he used those phrases exactly. And one of the things that Americans had grown used to was a trial by jury within a jurisdiction convenient to their house. Now, the British, during the colonial period, they'd try you in Nova Scotia. They would try you in Canada. They'd try you wherever they felt like it. Because, guess what? You're subjects. Okay. The Americans, when they build this sort of idea of how justice will work in the United States, trial by jury, we're going to let the people decide the fate of their friends and neighbors, and it's going to be held in the state where the crime was committed, or wherever the case is being held, is going to be convenient to the people accused, because that was not the case in the colonial period. You know, the cases were tried where it was convenient for the person hearing the case, and it was probably a British-appointed judge, and they were sitting there in New York, and some clodhopper's coming in from Virginia, and he goes, you know what, this guy's a clodhopper. And so, you know, I'm the great judge from Great Britain, and I'm just kind of getting my ticket punched so I can get a better post somewhere back in England. I don't care what happens to him. And so they wanted to make sure that in something as serious as criminal law and civil law, that everybody had a chance for a fair hearing amongst their peers and their neighbors.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and when Americans are operating in foreign jurisdictions, they find that to be rather jarring.
Yeah. What? We don't have a trial by jury right here?
Yeah, right here. And so if you broke the law in Mexican Texas, a lot of times you were hauled down to Monclova or Saltillo, and sometimes you got to take a trip all the way down to Jalapa.
And did you have a jury?
You did not have a jury. You had a bunch of judges saying, you're a clodhopper from San Augustine. And I don't like you.
We don't like you. Say goodbye.
Yeah. Can you speak Spanish? Oh, can't speak Spanish? Well, we're going to hold this trial in Spanish. And for you American speakers, that's too bad.
And you don't get the following rights either.
And you do not get the following rights. And guess what? We're going to throw you in the clink until we get around to your case. It's not innocent until proven guilty. We're going to hold you and keep an eye on you until we can hear your case.
Right. Okay, so this is a right that we have. The Sixth Amendment to the Constitution also talks about trial by jury.
You bet.
But this is the fourth right that's specifically mentioned in the actual body of the Constitution.
Correct.
So habeas corpus, bill of attainder, ex post facto law, and now trial by jury.
That's right.
So these were especially important to the framers of the Constitution. And you just detailed the reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were sensitive to these issues.
Yeah, they were very sensitive.
And thank goodness they were sensitive to these issues.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. We'll talk about this again when we get to the Sixth Amendment. But
Viva trial by jury.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever served on a jury?
They will never pick me. Now, in Abilene, your name comes up a bunch.
It sure
There's
does.
120,000 people here, so if you're a registered voter already, you're a slice of a slice.
Right.
And then they'll draw you into the jury pool, and as soon as they figure out what I do for a living, boy, I am booted.
Yeah, I have never served either.
One time I was actually into the jury selection process where they were going through and asking folks, what would you say you do? Well, read dead people's mail. Yeah. Anyhow, they always get booted.
And I have a brother in law enforcement, so.
See, that's your out.
Yeah, he's a prosecutor, so that usually gets me out too. So, anyway.
I've always wanted to be on a jury.
I figure it's going to happen when we're retired.
Yeah. We'll be looking for something to do.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So
that's our line. Trial by jury is a thing.
Thank God.
And we will be back with the next line next time.